This matrix maps the behavioral system governing modern transport. Despite its benefits, global cycling is declining due to a dual deficit. First is a physical safety deficit from unsafe roads. Second is a socio-practical deficit, granting cars a competitive advantage. The physical safety deficit creates a specific behavioral result. It forces vulnerable and inexperienced riders, who might otherwise choose to cycle, to withdraw from the cycling pool. Concurrently, the socio-practical deficit drives regular commuters to prefer motorized transport for its immediate convenience and perceived status. To analyze this essay effectively, we must treat it as an architectural blueprint. The author establishes that these two specific behavioral deficits must be met with structurally equivalent policy solutions. Examining the second paragraph reveals the mechanics of this physical safety failure.
The text defines the primary catalyst for danger. Modern infrastructure forces cyclists to share crowded roads with large, fast-moving motorized traffic. This mixed traffic environment disproportionately affects vulnerable demographics. The text specifically cites parents who withhold permission for their children to ride to school due to road safety concerns. During rush hour, heavy traffic and impatient drivers exacerbate this dynamic. The fear of accidents forces commuters toward less sustainable but safer forms of transport. The author provides a concrete supporting example. In cities lacking protected lanes, office workers choose to drive even for short, easily cyclable journeys. The text establishes that inadequate physical infrastructure creates a psychological barrier that prevents entry into regular cycling. Moving to the third paragraph, the text examines the socioeconomic factors that dictate commuter choice. This scale visualizes the baseline utility superiority of motor vehicles. Cars dominate over long distances, offer resilience in bad weather, and provide high cargo carrying capacity. The author adds a secondary sociological argument. Car ownership functions as a marker of higher social status and professional success. Within this socioeconomic framework, cycling suffers from a sharply contrasting negative perception. It is often dismissed as old-fashioned or overly demanding of physical effort. The text highlights a young professional who relies on motorized transport to ensure they arrive at the office clean, dry, and on time. Similarly, families doing weekly shopping prioritize the practical capacity of a car over a bicycle. Motorized transport holds a decisive socioeconomic and utilitarian advantage. This advantage prevents cycling adoption entirely, independent of road safety concerns. The text then transitions to solutions, outlining how physical interventions are used to neutralize these deficits. The author details mandatory hard infrastructure requirements, secure parking areas, clear road signs, and most crucially, separate bike lanes that physically isolate riders. There is a strict condition for success. These infrastructural networks must continuously connect residential zones to workplaces, schools, and shops. The text supports this with real-world geographical evidence. In Amsterdam, cycling rates are high partly because their dedicated bike networks are entirely separated from heavy traffic. Copenhagen demonstrates the same principle. Safe, continuous design encourages riders to commute without entering dangerous traffic. Hard infrastructure changes cycling from a risky activity into a normalized daily habit by removing physical friction with motorized vehicles. The final set of solutions targets the second deficit. These policies are designed to increase the social and financial utility of bicycles. The text proposes top-down financial incentives to close the utility gap, specifically government subsidies, tax benefits for commuting, and citywide bike-sharing schemes. These are combined with bottom-up institutional requirements. Companies must provide parking spaces, install workplace showers, and run awareness campaigns. Corporate measures like workplace showers are designed to target the professional presentation barrier that previously prevented many professionals from riding to work. The text asserts that direct financial rewards alter adult commuter behavior, giving employees a measurable reason to leave their cars at home. The long-term strategy utilizes schools to normalize bicycle use for students early on, creating lifelong generational habits. Combining financial incentives with structural education re-engineers the public image of cycling, making it a practical and modern transport option. Pulling back to evaluate this essay's complete architecture reveals a precise problem-solution mapping. The text applies a strict logical symmetry. Physical barriers, like mixed traffic, are neutralized by physical infrastructure solutions.
The second symmetry ensures social and convenience barriers are neutralized by socioeconomic incentive structures. The essay's ultimate thesis establishes that a global cycling revival is impossible if governments only address one half of this matrix. The text succeeds by pairing every behavioral problem identified in the premise with a corresponding policy solution by the conclusion. This video is brought to you by the IELTS FOCUS 0847-705-973, an English center specializing in IELTS preparation.